Hello everyone, football is back and we have a trip to Nottingham to preview alongside me, Mr. Singh and Senor McCabe. Now, lads, the first few words I think about in relation to Nottingham Forest is a test. This match is going to be a test. The most clean sheets in the league, I believe. One of the best goalkeepers in the league as well, in Sells, who's doing extremely well. Very well organised. An absolute threat on the counter-attack. 1v1. I mean, they've got threats all over the pitch, sorry. One of the toughest games in the league away, would you say, Shreyas?
Yeah, it definitely is. And considering how things did go the last time we actually faced them, I definitely think that it's going to be a tough encounter for us. In a way, you can also say, it will actually give us a fair understanding as to how we stand right now. We had a few positive results before the international break kicking in. So a good way to probably assess as to, how far this team can actually go when you have to look into it in the conversation of this season itself. But apart from that, they've got killers in the attack and the midfield, even I think probably one of the best defenses in the league. So it's going to be very tough for us to actually tackle them, considering the amount of problems we do have in our attacking lineup.
Yeah, obviously, Sam, with it being the international break, we know players can be a bit sloppy. Games take a while to get going, which doesn't really bode well for us, does it? Because of how poor we've been in the first 45 in games.
Yeah, and we don't do well against counter-attacking teams. Like, that's not where we seem to do well. We seem to do way better against teams who have a lot of possession, who like to hold the ball, which is why we typically play better against the higher up teams in the league. And I know Forest is one of those in the league, but traditionally don't play the same way as, I say, a Liverpool do, as a City do, as a Arsenal do, who want all the ball. They play way better on the counter, which is difficult for us because we play way better on the counter. So is it just going to be a game of like give them the ball and then they give us the ball and then we give that? Like, it's going to be tricky. So we're going to have to learn to have the ball and try and make sure we're not counting upon and we're not sort of leaving big gaps at the back. So the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White, Chris Wood, who can bully the best of defenders. You got Elanga, who I'm sure wants to score against his old club. You got people like that who can really damage you. So you've got to limit that while having the ball, which we're not good at traditionally. So it'll be interesting.
No. But we do have players coming back who are good on the ball. Shaw's available, Shreyas, Harry Maguire is available, Mason Mount's available, Lenny Yoro's available, all available for selection. Do you think any of them, without giving too much away, in your starting 11 will feature?
I think Yoro might, Maguire might, but I think he's going to be extremely careful when it comes to Shaw and Mount, because as injury prone as they are, they can bring a lot into this team if they can stay fit. Even if it's like 30 to 40 minutes every single game that they can come on and be there regularly, even just for a small amount of time, it can help us out a lot. And especially, someone like Mount, I think that inside 10 position is tailor made for him. He's played in that position before as well. And, with the way he plays, the amount of legwork he brings into the team and the creativity apart from that as well, he can actually, help us out a lot, especially against, teams like Forest who are way too organized and compact. So you definitely need players like Mount in there. It's just a question of how much is Amorim going to risk him. He's just coming back. Is Amorim going to give him even like 20, 25 minutes at the end of the game, or potentially even a start? Goes the same way for Luke Shaw. I think there's still a lot to be seen and to assess, how much their body can actually take at this point.
I do think he might be a little bit cautious with Mount, because if you listen to the way Amorim speaks about him, it's like Romeo and Juliet. He seems to be obsessed with the guy. He said, "I love him, can't wait to get him in the team," and da da da. And it's almost like you almost feel sorry a little bit for Amorim, because I don't think you're ever going to get any consistent minutes out of him. So you kind of just waiting for nothing to happen, almost. But with Ruben Amorim, Sam, he has been nominated for Manager of the Month. Now, I looked into the statistics of this. 2 games that they're being judged off in March.
Yeah.
So 1-2, played 2, drawn 1, won 1, I think it is, in Amorim's case. Goals for 4, goals against once, goal difference, +3. And then his Nuno and Herzl are also in competition as well. You've got Bruno Fernandes, who's Player of the Month contention alongside Bellegarde, Ilanga, Milenkovic, Rice, and Van Heck. Do any of them deserve it, in your opinion?
I think Bruno definitely does. I think Bruno's been nigh on our best player, if not, like he definitely is. So I think he's been excellent. He's basically dragged us 3 games, come up with winning assists or winning goals to get us wins or keep us in games and stuff like that. So I think he definitely deserves it. I think he's up there. The last month or so, I think he's been consistently really, really excellent. So yeah, he definitely deserves it. Amram, I mean, it's probably our best form so far, isn't it? Of all the by the time that he's been here, like we've not had a consistent run of form really since he's come in. We had the Everton game, we had the draw against Ipswich, and then we had the Everton game. We were like, all right, okay,
yeah,
starting here, and then it just sort of fell off a cliff, didn't it? But Amram did say at the time, he was like, there is a storm coming, and the storm did come, and it basically devastated us, and we were just really, really poor. But got a draw against Sociedad. Who did we play in the league after that?
Arsenal,
decent result there, and then we beat Sociedad away, which was a really good result.
We should have beat Arsenal as well. Don't forget.
Should have beat Arsenal. Definitely should have beat Arsenal. Beat them, and then we beat. Was it Leicester?
Yeah, Leicester. 3-0.
Yeah. Arguably, that's probably our best run so far. Like we've not had a better run than that so far. So yeah, I think he's in contention. But again, against the likes of like, you look at people like Nuno, what he's doing at Forest, what Thomas Frank's doing at Brentford, what Herzl's doing at Brighton and stuff like that. He's in tough competition, but it's probably our best run. So if he is going to win it, it's probably this month, isn't it, really?
So if it is our best run, did the international break come at the wrong time, Shreyas?
I don't think so. Because I think even though it has been a good run, that last game against Leicester brought about a lot of injuries into this team. You know, Euro being out, Eden Heaven being out, Maguire being out, Shaw and Mount obviously being out. At least now, because of this international break, you do have that hiatus that, you know, we were on a very good run. You know, back-to-back games probably might have helped us to extend that run. But at least, you know, we have Maguire back now. We have Euro back now. Don't know how long Eden Heaven is going to be out for, but potentially he might be back soon as well. You've got Shaw and Mount coming in, which is very, very important for us as well. So going into this next set of games, we are better equipped to handle these games, even when it comes to player rotations.
We saw Rasmus, didn't we, Sam, scored just before the break, and then I think he scored with Denmark as well on international duty. Is that a sign of him, hopefully, to now go on a run? Because he did it last year, didn't he?
He seems to be a patchy player, doesn't he? He seems to have like nothing, and then he seems to score a goal, and then he goes on a run. Like we saw that in Champions League, we saw that in the Premier League when he finally got a goal. He went, was it 7-8 games or something?
Yeah.
Where he scored. DORGU got an assist as well for him.
He was really good
he's
for
on.
Denmark.
So that's promising because he's finished with his suspension now. So he comes back in. So that's good to have him back in the team. So yeah, hopefully the confidence he got from the Leicester game, the confidence in the internationals, hopefully that follows through into this game and he can carry on and he can get a goal, maybe even 2 against Forest, and we can sort of put a run together as we're in Europe. Obviously, the Premier League doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't, because we're going to finish a bit higher and maybe get a bit more money. Other than that, it's like, it is what it is. Europa League is super important. So if you can get some confidence in the Premier League and take it into the Europa League, that'll be really, really good, because we need goals in the Europa League. Like we need goals to progress through to the next round.
Well, I think from a Forest point of view, at least, Shreyas, that it's going to matter to them, because obviously they're pushing for the Champions League. And as I touched on before, going to that Forest ground at the minute, playing this team, organised, counter-attack, 2-3 passes, they can absolutely kill you for dead with dangerous wingers as well. They've got big, strong centre-forwards in Awoniyi, because I don't think Chris would be available. I think he's still injured. They've got the best defence in the league. Go on.
He came on in the FA Cup yesterday, I think, for the last couple of minutes, so he may...
Yeah.
I think so.
Oh, I didn't see him.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So it might have been starting off to...
Maybe.
Yeah. Potentially. But they've got the best defence in the league statistically.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of typically in a preview, we would discuss the attackers, the goal scorers, the Chris Woods and kind of that. But I want to focus a little bit on the centre-back partnership and the goalkeeper triangle for them. Because if you look at Murillo, Milenkovic and Sells, them 3 players cost Forest 25 million quid, by the way, which is fucking unbelievable business. If you watch them defensively, they've been unbelievable under Nuno, haven't they?
Yeah, they have been. And the thing is, Milenkovic and Murillo bring the best out of each other. You know, you
Yes.
look at them physically, you look at their ball carrying ability as well, and the way, Milenkovic as well, the way he actually, slots into midfield at times to become that extra figure alongside Dominguez and Ryan Yates at times, he causes a lot of issues. And secondly, both of them have the recovery pace to make it back in time, even if they're being hit for the counter. Set pieces wise as well, Milenkovic is a big threat when it comes to set pieces. So effectively, efficiency wise, both of them are up there, and they are a very tough, I would say, duo to break down, especially, when you've got strikers like Hoyland, who, when they do come up against, physical sort of centre backs,
Yeah.
they're not able to get they're not able to actually get much of a chance in these
Could
sort
be
of
an
games.
interesting
So,
battle that, or it between them.
yeah. So, and apart from that as well, there is a reason why they conceded the least amount of goals up until now. And all of these guys, even when you look at their midfield as well, with the way they line up, Milenkovic and Murillo actually allow them to move even further upwards when they're on the counter. So it's going to be extremely tough. But I think if you can make intricate passes and if you are able to actually, catch them off guard, there is still a chance, because Forest didn't look all that too great in their last game. I think it was against
Oh, it was
Brighton,
a shit
which they
game,
played.
that. It was really bad.
So,
But they did Milinkovic in that game specifically was really good.
yeah,
I'd say that's why I
he
picked
was.
out the centre backs.
So they're not undefeatable, but they've definitely got players who can cause us a lot of issues.
Sam, what's impressed you the most, or surprised might be the better word, with Forest when you've watched them this season? Because obviously to go from relegation positions to looks like they're going to get Champions League football, there's been a huge improvement.
Yeah, like they just you look at the sort of like Nuno did quite well, didn't he, at Wolves?
Yeah.
And then it just sort of like seemed like it got stale towards the end, which ended up with him leaving, and he ended up at Spurs, and he just didn't have a good time at Spurs, did he? Like, just never sort of worked. But is that just Spurs? Because it just seems like anybody who goes to Spurs.
I think Spurs really
doesn't-
didn't give him that much time either.
Yeah.
They gave him like 8 to
Has
9 games.
anyone had a
Yeah.
good time at Spurs?
Like,
ever?
yeah, like Jose got into a cup final and then they sacked him before the cup final. Like, it's a weird club, and Postecoglou is now suffering the wrath as well. So yeah, Spurs is a weird thing. But he came into Forest, and you think, all right, manager, keep him up, keep him steady as a club. But this season, yeah, they've been excellent. Like, I think again, comes down. It's a very similar thing. Do you remember when Leicester won the league and they were playing this like football that nobody else was playing, where they were just knocking it over the top to Vardy, and he was just latching onto stuff because everybody was pressing up and playing this high line, and they were just able to sort of do that, and they ended up winning a league with that style of football because nobody was expecting that. Nobody played that way. And then the next season, everybody figured them out, didn't they? And they ended up like, once you stop Vardy making those runs and catch him offside, like they had no effect. Obviously, they got picked apart as well. Kante left, Mahrez left, all those people left. But that sort of suffered the system. And I think a similar thing might happen next year. You might see teams figure Forest out, and they'll end up not being where they are next season. And also, they might lose a couple of those big time players that you mentioned. Murillo might go, Milenkovic might go. Morgan Gibbs-White could be another one as well. So you could see people leave to pastures new. So yeah, I think the players have come together really well. The style suits what they've got. Nuno's coached them extremely well, and they find themselves in a position that nobody expected them to be in. And then they're taking advantage of the likes that City have fallen off, United have fallen off, Spurs have fallen off, Chelsea have seemed to have fallen off, and they've snuck into that position. And all credit to them, like they've done extremely well.
Do you think they'll get Champions League football? Shreyas, 54 points. They're currently 5 points ahead of Chelsea, 6 points ahead of City, and 7 ahead of Newcastle with 9 games to go.
I think they will. I think the reason being, I expected Forest to, actually lose momentum midway into the season on a lot of occasions, but they've actually pulled through some, with some very dominant performances. I remember they beat Brighton like 7-0.
Oh, yeah.
And
Excuse me.
they've had some very convincing performance, even against the top sides. So I don't expect them to fall down. I think they'll still be able to stay around this position. You never know, maybe just, move into that second spot over Arsenal as well, because Arsenal have been poor this season, I would say, especially in the Prem. And with the kind of injuries even, that they've got, might be difficult for them to balance out the Champions League as well as the Prem. So I think Forest will definitely be there in the top 4.
It's interesting. I think if you look at all their big wins, that's the reason why they are, let's say, for example, 6 points ahead of the teams below them, because they beat City recently, didn't they? That was like
Yeah.
mega for them at their ground. They was the only team, I think, to beat Liverpool at Anfield.
At Anfield.
As well. And you go through all the big teams that they've played, they've really like gone toe to toe with a lot of them. And I think that counter-attacking style that Nuno's implemented with them and how organised they are is just perfect to play against those big teams. But then equally, when they play the teams near the bottom, because they have those direct threats in Hudson-Odoi or Elanga, and they've got Chris Wood who's scoring the amount of goals that he is, you can also open teams up when you have the ball. I watched them against Brighton. Now, Brighton are really good in possession. We've seen them play football like they are. And Forest, a lot of the time, at least in my assessment, was keeping the ball much better. And maybe it was the Brighton run an off day. Yeah, I don't know, but I just thought they looked better. So they're as competent in possession, but they're like, you know what, we can sit off as well. We don't need to have the ball, and we could just kill you with 2-3 attacks. From a United perspective, Sam, we're 17 points behind Forest at the minute. Do you think next season will they finish above us again? If you had to bet,
I doubt it. I think you've seen what's happened when teams have got European football. You've seen what's happened to Villa in the league this season. Did really well last year, and they're in the Champions League, and they're doing well. Like, they're in the quarterfinals, so fair play to them. They're doing well in Europe. But in the league, what are they, 9th, 10th?
Somewhere around.
So they're probably not going to get Champions. They're definitely not going to get Champions League. They might not even get European football.
I wouldn't say definite. Like Champions League. I wouldn't say definite.
No? I don't think that.
They're not that far off. Even now, they're not that far off.
Only a couple of points.
I don't think they'll make it this year. But and then we saw it with Newcastle as well. Like when they got it with the same time as us, they ended up suffering in the league as well and ended up not getting it. So I think that'll be a case, unless they go on another spending spree and buy another 20 odd players to sort of back up what they did the last time. So yeah, I think I'm hoping I can't do another season of what we've done this season. I can't do another one. Like, if we finish 13th, 14th again, fucking hell, like that is a terrible season. So yeah, I think we'll finish above them next year. I bloody hope we do. Really hope we do. Between
Chelsea are on 49 points and Bournemouth on 44, that's 4th to 10th place.
Yeah.
So
that's
there is
much.
a 5-point gap between 4th and 10th, which is fucking nuts.
I think it'd be. It depends. There's also 5th could be Champions League as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, depending on the what's it called?
Obviously, Liverpool win the league. Arsenal will probably finish 2nd. I think Forest 3rd, and then it's either City or Chelsea in the 4th, and then the 5th one will be tricky. Yeah, I'm not sure who
Newcastle, Brighton, Fulham, Villa, Bournemouth, all there. So
yeah.
Interesting times, man. Right, let's do ones to watch in this game then, people. Who are you going for, Shreyas, with United, and who are you going for with Forest?
Forest for sure, Elanga. And for us, Bruno.
Okay. Sam?
Yeah, I would have said Elanga as well, but I'll change it. I'll go Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he's in really good form. He's very unlucky not to be called up for England. I thought he deserved to be called up. When you're calling up Jordan Henderson, like, why is Gibbs-White not in that call-up list? Because I think he's done excellent. So yeah, I'd shout him out. And then Bruno's the obvious one because he's pulling all the strings. He's the guy who's creating things. He's the one that we're relying on for goals. So it has to be Bruno.
I thought Elanga looked really bright when he came on against Brighton yesterday. He looked dangerous, and I think obviously you always get players trying to prove a point against their old teams, don't you? As well? So I would go with him with Forest. For United, I'm actually going Rasmus just because he scored in his last couple of games, and he has a tendency to start going through patches. But I agree as well with Shreyas when he said it's going to be difficult against these two centre backs because they're physical and they're really good, and they can hold their own in terms of pace as well. So I'm just trying to put it into the air. Rasmus goes on a goal scoring run now because we're going to need it.
Please.
5 quick fire questions, lads. Will both teams score? Shreyas, you go first, and Sam after.
Yes.
Yeah.
One player you would take from Forest. Oh, got on with that.
I'll wait for Shreyas to go.
I know you. I'm saying we've got Shreyas with that.
I'll go with the keeper, Matt Sells.
Good shout. Sam?
Murillo. I think he's excellent. I really, really rate him highly.
Just so you can sing, is this the way to Murillo?
I mean, that's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Will Rasmus score?
Yes.
No.
Any red cards or penalties?
No.
No.
Prediction for man of the match?
Milinkovic.
Oh, it's not good for us.
Bruno.
Bruno. Right, lads, talk me through your team then. Yours is on the screen.
I think we've gone for the same team, haven't we?
Yeah. There's a joint team on the screen.
I've put I think it's this back Onana, Dalot, De Ligt. I think that speaks for itself. DORGU at the left hand side. I've put Maguire in because I think he's had a couple more weeks training than all the other defenders that we've got. And I don't think he wants to rush Yoro back. I don't think he wants to rush Shaw in. I don't think he wants to rush anybody like that. So I think, and obviously Aiden Heaven we don't know what his status is. So I've put Lindelof with him just because he seems to be the only defender who's played any minutes recently, who is fit, who's not got an injury issue. So I've put Lindelof there. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's the team. Yeah, that's the team that's going to be. Do you want to talk through the front line, Shreyas?
Yeah, it's Højlund, Xerxes, and Garnacho because again, the only ones who are probably fit for us right now and actually get us a start. Xerxes has looked better, I would say, in that position over the past few weeks, been a consistent performer for us. Garnacho as well, looking better and better in that inside 10 position, and in that striker department, you've only got Højlund to actually pick.
Yeah, I think I'd probably agree with that. I've put a team on the screen just to switch up slightly, just the back line really. I think Majrari seems to play every single game and doing it whilst he's fasting as well, by the way, which is just absolutely nuts. But I don't know, I feel like he's always...
That's why I dropped him. That's why I dropped him, because he's gone with Morocco as well, then he's travelled long miles as well, so I'm like...
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it for sure. De Ligt as the central centre-back, because I think Maguire's literally just coming back now, so I don't know if he'll push him straight in. And Yoro seems to be developing quite well before, obviously, Aiden Heaven steps into that left-sided centre-half role. So I think Yoro will come in there. And again, same, Dalot, Bruno, Ugarte, DORGU, because that's probably the best four in terms of balance. And Garnacho, Højlund, and Xerxes, because you're not going to start Cheetah or Ericsson, are you? Realistically. So, yeah, I think that's probably fair. Right. Now we get into the nitty-gritty bit, the score prediction, lads. Shreyas, do us the honours, mate.
1-1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like that. I'd take a 1-1, Sam?
I'd take a draw, yeah. I'd definitely take a draw.
But what do you think?
I think we lose 2-1. I'm really worried about this game. I think they have got the capability to cut us open on the counter.
Yeah.
And... with playing Lindelof and Maguire, who are not the quickest defenders. De Ligt isn't that quick either, to be honest with you. I think they could cause chaos behind there. And I think without Yoro, who I saw the interview, said, I'm training without pain now, but is he going to want to risk him just because of the history of that? So I don't know if he's going to put him in there. So yeah, that worries me quite a bit. So I think, they're going to cut us open on the counter. I think we'll have a lot of possession, but I think they'll cut us open on the counter and beat us 2-1.
Do we almost need to play on the... I know they mentioned this in a few of the previews and podcasts and stuff, but do we almost need to play on the counter to win this? Because they're at home, will the emphasis be on them, or will it be no, Amrin's going to dominate with the ball? Do you know what I mean?
I think he's going to play conservative. I think he's going to play the same way we played against Arsenal, because I think playing on the front foot right now with the kind of players we've got in the squad is not really possible. And if you do play on the front foot, you're just inviting trouble, especially against a team like Forest. They are happy to give you possession. They're more comfortable in giving opposition teams possession. Yeah. So you're just going to be playing into their hands if you go with the backline with Lindelof as well as Maguire, with Hudson-Odoi and Elanga cutting in from all angles, and then Morgan Gibbs wide in the middle, making those late runs into the box. So I think he's going to go with a bit more pragmatic approach. And mostly, I think, we'll allow Forest to have more possession. The only way I think, we can actually cause some issues is with Bruno. Actually, roaming around in that box or going with a crazy shot from outside the box. That's how I actually see us getting a goal.
Oh, it's a tough one to predict. If I'm just thinking straight with my head, I do think I agree with Sam. I think they're going to win 2-1. just because they have the slight edge. They have more killer instinct up top when it comes to it. And I think we're still trying to find ourselves a little bit. So I'll go with a 2-1, but a close competition. I don't expect them to absolutely tan us because I think we have a bit of form.
No.
But I think that's probably fair. Would love to hear everyone else's opinions, by the way, in the chat. So if you are watching this, of course, on a Sunday night, get your predictions in, and who do you think is going to be in the starting 11, and give us your reasons for that. Please, if you could, leave a like in the video for us and subscribe to the channel as well. That'd be absolutely amazing. We are 7 subs of 13,500, and Premier League football is back. Make sure you check out our Premier League predictions as well, which will be dropping tomorrow morning to get yourself ready for those games. So yeah, appreciate you, Shreyas. Appreciate you, Sam. This has been the preview for the game against Nottingham Forest. We'll see you in the next one.